If you're over 40 and eating the wrong foods, plaque is silently clogging your arteries, and you won't even feel it until it's too late. But there are a couple of powerful meals that you can eat today to naturally unclog your arteries. No statins, no surgery, no BS. I'll show you exactly what to eat and what hidden foods you need to stop combining that are secretly making things worse, even the ones labeled heart healthy. The number one food that most people think is heart healthy but is destroying your arteries is going to be whole wheat bread. Yes, even the brown, organic, multi-grain kind. Here's why. Whole wheat bread, 2 slices of whole wheat bread can spike your blood sugar and insulin levels as much as a Snickers bar or a can of soda. When you spike your glucose levels time after time, this creates something called advanced glycation end products, AGES. AGES. This inflames your endothelium, which is the delicate lining within your arteries. Once the lining gets inflamed, oxidized LDL particles sticks to your arteries like Velcro. And here is the kicker. Most people are eating wheat with so-called heart-healthy vegetable oils. This is a deadly combo that shoves those oxidized LDL particles right into your arteries. So here's what a real artery healing meal looks like. The meals that actually clear plaque, raise HDL cholesterol. I want you to remember this. HDL, you want to get that marker above 70 on your lab report. This is your body's janitorial system to sweep out those plaques within your arteries. You also want to lower your triglyceride levels under 70. And you do this by building a meal plan around healthy fats, quality protein, antioxidant, and insulin-friendly meals. So here are 7 of the best foods you can eat to lower inflammation, unclog your arteries, and prevent heart disease. The first food is going to be a superfood. I consider it as a superfood, wild-caught salmon. Wild-caught salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. These are anti-inflammatory. This helps lower inflammation, lower insulin, helps with things like weight loss resistance, insulin resistance, and also diabetes. And it lowers your triglycerides while raising your HDL levels. And the goal is to consume wild-caught salmon, not farm salmon. Farm salmon has different characteristics than the wild varieties. So you want to aim to consume wild-caught salmon 1 to 2 times per week to get these benefits. The second superfood for your arteries is avocados. I love avocados. It is nature's natural fruit. Yeah, it is technically a fruit. Helps you burn fat because it's loaded with monounsaturated fatty acid. It also has phytosterols, which naturally lower inflammation in your body. Loaded with B vitamins, which support your adrenal glands. And here's a cool thing. Avocados have so much potassium, twice as much potassium in one avocado compared to a whole banana. And if you consume the banana, you'll get a big glucose spike. The avocado, not so much because it's mostly healthy fats, some healthy fiber, it slows digestion. So you want to aim to get half to a full avocado most days of the week to raise HDL, lower triglycerides. The third food is going to raise nitric oxide in your body. This is important. Nitric oxide is a gaseous molecule that creates something called vasodilation. Vasodilation is the process of when your arteries open up, which allows blood flow, oxygen, nutrients to deliver to tissues and create healing and also get rid of plaque. When you eat the wheat bread, the seed oils, when you have glucose and insulin spikes, it depletes nitric oxide, which creates vasoconstriction. Now, your heart has to pump harder to deliver the oxygen, the nutrients, the blood flow for healing. This is the number one cause of high blood pressure. So there are 2 foods in this group here that are proven to raise nitric oxide, minimal glucose and insulin spikes, raise HDL, lower triglycerides, and help unclog your arteries. These 2 vegetables are arugula and watercress. Eat them on a consistent basis to get these benefits. The 4th item here on the list is another superfood, olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil. I think olive oil is one of the most powerful foods you could consume, proven to raise HDL, proven to lower triglycerides, proven to help reverse insulin resistance, weight loss resistance, and fatty liver disease. You see, olive oil, when it's a real legit olive oil, and I'll explain how to find the right one, it's loaded with oleocanthols. Oleocanthols are a powerful polyphenol that lowers inflammation in the body, in the brain. Olive oil also has healthy monounsaturated fats. So what you want to do is make a homemade olive oil dressing where you add olive oil, lemon juice, maybe some sea salt, and add that to your salads, add that to the arugula, the watercress, add it to your salmon. And you want to consume that on a consistent basis, which over time will raise your HDL levels and unclog your arteries. But take caution. Most olive oil at the supermarket is contaminated. It's rancid. It's cut with the seed oil. So here's some tips for you. If you're buying olive oil at the supermarket, you want to find a brand that shows organic, extra virgin. You want to make sure it is 100% olive oil. So look at the ingredient list, make sure there's no other oils there, and make sure it's in a dark glass bottle. If it's a clear bottle, the light exposure could oxidize the olive oil, and that could become inflammatory. And here's a tip for you. When you're buying that bottle at the grocery store, reach all the way back towards the back of the shelf where there is the least amount of light, which is the most protected olive oil. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of brands at the supermarket, but you might be able to find one or two. Personally, I'm a part of the Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club, and every quarter I get 3 amazing bottles delivered to me of the highest quality, best tasting olive oil that's so anti-inflammatory. It's keeping my HDL levels above 70 year after year, and they're actually hooking you up with a $39 bottle for $1. And you can take advantage of this by going to ketocampoliveoil.com. Camp is spelled with the K, and you can get that bottle for $1. We'll also drop that link in the notes down below. The 5th food is walnuts. Walnuts contain arginine. Arginine has been shown to increase nitric oxide levels and increase HDL levels. So you want to get raw, organic walnuts. And when you're buying it at the grocery store, if you go to like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, or a lot of these supermarkets, they have these bulk bins where you get the little scooper, you get a bag, and you scoop the walnuts into the bag. I don't recommend using those bulk bins. I want you to think about this. Throughout the day, people are opening and closing that bulk bin, so it's oxidized to light, it's oxidized to oxygen, and what happens, it loses a lot of its benefits, and it can also create mold. So you want to buy organic raw walnuts that are sealed in a bag, and just have maybe a handful every other day to get these benefits. The 6th food is Mother Nature's multivitamin. This might shock you because most cardiologists and doctors will tell you this leads to plaque in your arteries. Well, they are dead wrong. That's going to be eggs with the yolk. These are the most anti-inflammatory foods because when you consume eggs with the yolk, especially organic pastured eggs, you're getting a bomb of nutrients. Choline, lutein, zeaxanthin, these incredible antioxidants, these incredible properties that lower inflammation in your body, raise HDL, lower insulin, lower triglycerides. So I consume eggs every other day, and the runnier the yolk, the better, the more nutrients that are preserved. And the 7th food, which is also a shocker, is actually red meat. No, red meat doesn't cause heart disease. No, red meat doesn't cause cancer. Look, these studies showing red meat is linked to heart disease and cancer, they're blaming the burger for what the bun did. Okay, it's not the burger that's the issue. It's not the red meat. It's what it comes with. The bun, the seed oils. But if you just eat the burger, just eat the steak. Steak is loaded with carnitine, creatine. It has a bunch of minerals that are so important for the mitochondria, and your heart has the most, or some of the most mitochondrial dense cells in your body. So red meat is a highly anti-inflammatory. Eat it on a daily basis. I sure do. And my cholesterol panel looks phenomenal. Now, I think it's important to also share some hidden healthy food combinations that people are consuming, thinking they're doing something right, but actually is causing plaque in your arteries. Okay, the first one is the common breakfast here in the United States: cereal and orange juice. Sounds like a classic healthy breakfast, but the juice will spike your glucose and insulin levels. The cereal will do the same thing. And together they slam your arteries with oxidative stress, and your triglyceride levels will shoot up for hours. It'll raise your triglyceride levels, and that is a problem because that essentially is showing fat in the bloodstream. The second unhealthy food is salad dressings. I know a lot of people think they're eating healthy by going to a restaurant and ordering the chicken Caesar salad, the Cobb salad, and that's a great option. But the salad dressing, most of them are loaded with seed oils, which are inflammatory. So I mentioned earlier, the olive oil, the lemon, and the salt, that is your best option as a salad dressing. And then lastly is going to be low-fat yogurt with fruit in the bottom. They naturally remove the fat to make it low-fat. Not good. They replace it with sugar, which increases your triglyceride levels and depletes your nitric oxide levels. This combination starves your arteries of these amazing healthy fats while feeding inflammation. Now, what else can you do to raise HDL, lower triglycerides, unclog your arteries? There are 7 things you can do right away, besides what I just shared, to get amazing results. Number 1 is going to be grounding. When you walk outside with your bare feet on the sand, the grass, the dirt, you create this anti-inflammatory process. It's like taking a handful of Advil without the side effects of an Advil. So you want to go outside in nature, and that'll raise nitric oxide at the same time. And it's an anti-inflammatory process, just getting outside 30 minutes a day, grounding. It's also called earthing. The second thing is a sauna. Infrared, dry, steam, any kind of sauna. This is called heat therapy. This actually creates that vasodilation, the opening of your blood vessels, because you increase nitric oxide through sauna. So I personally aim to get 150 minutes total per week of sauna. I recommend you find a way to get similar results. Exercise also helps, especially sprinting with nitric oxide, blood circulation, vasodilation. So make sure you're sprinting, burst training, strength training, all of that's going to be great for your arteries. On top of that, the next thing here is going to be walking, daily steps, especially walking after your biggest meal of the day has huge benefits to lower triglycerides, lower insulin, and raise HDL. The 5th thing is going to be breathing through your nose. When you breathe through your nose, you produce nitric oxide. When you're a chronic mouth breather, you deplete nitric oxide. So throughout the day, just be conscious. Are you breathing through your mouth or breathing through your nose? Obviously, when you're speaking like I am right now, you're going to be breathing through your mouth. When you're not speaking, breathe through your nose. When you're walking outside, breathe through your nose. When you're sleeping at night, breathe through your nose. And I actually mouth tape every night to ensure I'm breathing through my nose, raising nitric oxide, raising HDL, and lowering triglycerides every single night. I use a company called Somnifix for the mouth tape that I put over my mouth, and I'll drop a link in the notes down below for Somnifix. The 6th thing you want to do is avoid antiseptic mouthwash and fluoride toothpaste. Dr. Nathan Bryan, who's a world-renowned nitric oxide researcher, he's a good friend of mine. I've had him on my Metabolic Freedom podcast many times. He showed research showing that antiseptic mouthwash, Listerine, Scope, etc., and fluoride-rich toothpaste depletes nitric oxide, which creates vasoconstriction, which raises your blood pressure, and that could happen within days. The amazing news is when you stop using mouthwash and stop using fluoride toothpaste, you could restore that balance in about a week or so. That's pretty cool. So get rid of the mouthwash and the fluoride toothpaste and restore your nitric oxide levels. And lastly, this is going to shock you, you actually want to get your total cholesterol over 200. Again, Dr. Nathan Bryan has shown that when your total cholesterol is lowered under 200, like through a statin or like a vegan diet, it actually lowers nitric oxide and increases your risk of heart disease. Crazy. The opposite of what you've been taught. Cholesterol is not the boogeyman, but oxidized cholesterol is, and triglycerides also are the boogeyman. More studies are coming out showing that people die from heart disease, more people die from heart disease with normal to low cholesterol than with high cholesterol. So how fast can you start seeing results based off of what I just shared today? Studies show you can raise your HDL levels within weeks, and you could drop your triglycerides significantly, 30 to 50% within a month. So follow what you just learned, do some lab work, and make sure you are unclogging those arteries. Now, I'm going to get to the questions you submitted here. Before I do, I have a brand new book called Metabolic Freedom that puts together what you learned today and so much more, and it's wrapped together in a 30-day plan to help you lose 20 pounds in 30 days. And it's a step-by-step system for balancing your hormones, restoring your metabolism, and feeling like a freaking rock star. And you can get this book over at metabolicfreedombook.com, scanning the QR code on the screen. And we're giving away an entire course on the metabolism for anybody who buys it today, with some exclusive interviews with some of the best fat loss experts in the space. You can get all that for free when you buy Metabolic Freedom today over at metabolicfreedombook.com. I'm also currently on a keynote speaking tour for the book. I'd love to meet you in person. We're doing book signings, giveaways, and of course, keynote lectures across the US, the Middle East. And if you go to benazadi.com/events, you can see where I'm speaking next, and I hope to see you soon. Now let's get to your questions. What's the difference between LDL, HDL, and oxidized LDL? And should I be worried if my LDL is high, but my HDL is also high? Okay. HDL stands for high density lipoprotein. Technically, it's not even cholesterol, it's a lipoprotein. This is a very important marker to test because it helps when it's over 70, it's very protective against heart disease. So you want to get that lab test. Over 70 is ideal. LDL, total LDL, is not the full picture because what you want to do is get the particle sizes of the LDL. There are two different particle sizes. Pattern A, which is a good pattern, large and fluffy LDL, supports your immune system, supports your arteries. And then pattern B, so think B, bad. That's the small, sticky, oxidized LDL. So the test you want to request is called the LDL particle size test. LabCorp has a test called NMR profile, which breaks down those particles. Are supplements like fish oil or CoQ10 helpful in addition to the foods you mentioned? I think fish oil is one of the most inflammatory supplements you can take. It will not help with what I'm speaking about today. It will not help you become healthier. It's an oxidized fat like a seed oil. So I do not recommend, I do not take fish oil. CoQ10, on the other hand, great. It supports mitochondrial function, especially the mitochondria in your heart. So I would recommend 200 milligrams of CoQ10, the same protocol I gave you today. And I use the one from Designs for Health, and I'll drop a link for that in the notes down below. There you have it. That's the full protocol to unclog your arteries. Thanks for watching.